Like so many things in life, automobiles are changing at just a fantastic pace. They get better and better and they have more conveniences and so on. But stop and think about it. Every one of those conveniences, they're wonderful when they work, but when they fail to work, well, they can be expensive and difficult to repair. Now let's start with the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning system, the HVAC system. All right, now most everybody that has a gas or diesel powered car, they understand that their car has a radiator to keep the engine cool. Doesn't apply to electric cars, but that's a whole different story. All right, now that same radiator has hot coolant in it, and here we have a second radiator. Now this does just the opposite. This is a heater core. C-O-R-E, not a coil as a lot of people like to call it. It is a heater core and it's under the dash of the car. Now hot coolant from the engine flows through this heater core, and if we let air go through it, it heats the air and allows that heated air to come into the cabin of the car. Now in the old days this was done with a door that closed off the airflow through this, and you had a knob or a lever on the dash, and when you moved the lever or turned the knob, it opened this door to allow more air to flow through the heater core. More air meant more heat coming into the cabin of the car, and that meant a hotter temperature inside the car. All right, well, we still have something similar to that. But, you know, back then it was really easy to diagnose because these doors and everything were controlled by cables, and all you had to do was turn the knob or move the lever and see if this end of the cable moved. And if it did, then you watched the other end of the cable. And if the other end of it moved, then you went on to checking other things. If it didn't, you knew you had a broken cable. Really simple and straightforward, but those days are gone. You see, today, everything is computer controlled, and we have units such as we see here. Now these are used for a number of things, including the intake air that goes into the engine, but these are either electric or vacuum controlled. Now they use the computer of the car to develop a vacuum signal or an electrical signal to open or close a unit like we see down here. And that, of course, will control the amount of air flowing into the heater core, or if it happens to be relative to the engine, then to the amount of air going into the engine. So this is completely computer controlled. It's done with electronic signals and all such as that. All right, now, here we have a fan control module. This controls the speed of the fan blowing the air into the car. Now if you look at this, it is electronic, and again that means that we have to look at electronic signals, we have to look at resistance and a whole bunch of different things like that to test it. So what I'm getting at here is if you take your car in, let's say you've got an air conditioning problem or a heating problem, and the shop tells you that it could be $200 to check it. Don't be alarmed and don't automatically think that they're doing something dishonest, because to check one of these systems, it may take a couple of hours. And a couple of hours is anywhere from $200 to $400, depending on what part of the country you're in and so on. So the bottom line is these things are nice, but when they break, they can be very expensive to diagnose, not repair necessarily, but to find the cause of the problem, because it involves a lot of time. So keep that in mind. And if you have a question, a comment, or just want a lot of great automotive information, check us out at goss-garage.com.